Hi, welcome to episode number 2. Today I'm gonna take on really looking at the mindset of people with money, people with some significant wealth. And this conversation shows how somebody else mindset changed over the years. And I love it because I found several different concepts that I have been using in my life. So I really want to share that with everybody. I am gonna quickly switch over here to. So this is the video. I will link it. The Money Expert. Do not buy a house. 10 ways to make real money with Ramit Sethi, and this is under Stephen Bartlett Diaries of a CEO. So I'm gonna switch quickly to the section where I really wanted to focus on. And I'm probably gonna do some pauses for a second if I really want to interject and say something about my life. They're talking about a lot about the relationship with the husband wife and openly talking about money. Well, that is very important for all couples and everybody that's trying to get through this life together, and especially when you're investing and trying to make more significant money than anybody else around you. So I found this episode really good with a lot of information. I'll put the link in the description so you can actually watch the whole episode without me interjecting. But I just wanted to try something today with switching between the video content and really being able to interject my thoughts on top of that.
40 years and I've never flinched.
Yeah.
I don't check the price.
So
Sometimes I just check
this
my
was a
password works,
conversation
but
about the
I'm
crypto
not in. I've never traded.
and
I have no
obviously
interest in that.
the purpose of
Ramit's 10
investments.
money
Okay,
rules.
10 money
I just want
rules.
to go through these 10 money rules because you mentioned prenups there, and I was quite curious that number 10 in these rules is marrying the right person. But let's start at number 1. Always have 1 year of emergency funds.
Yeah. So for me, 1 year of emergency fund is conservative. It's more conservative than most. Lets me sleep at night, and I just keep the cash in a savings account. It's not under my pillow. Cash does not mean it's sitting under my bed. Please don't try to rob me. It's cash in a savings account, totally liquid, and that's what it's for. Emergencies.
Rule number 2.
So I absolutely agree with the rule number 1. I could not be able to survive uh, the last year without proper planning early in my life. So absolutely agree with that.
Save 10%, invest 20% of gross annual income.
Yeah. This is all about the numbers that I shared and being more aggressive with them. I know that paying myself first now turns into way more later, so I invest aggressively.
Rule 3, pay cash for large expenses like engagement rings or big holidays or weddings.
Yeah. This one is controversial because for the things that are important to me, I don't want price to be the number one concern. So I'd rather save up for it. When I was in my 20s, before I ever met my wife, I knew one day I would get married. And because I'm Indian, I knew we would have a big wedding. And I wanted it to be amazing. So I started putting money aside every single month automatically. I do the same thing for trips, house, etc.
Rule 4, never question.
So I do like that rule. I wish I was actually making more throughout my life to be able to do that. This was something, well, always achievable, but I don't think I was planning that from the same perspective. Yeah, we had accounts for the like a daily living trips and all that stuff, but I think I started using some of those funds for the investments, and that was not good. You need to have separate accounts, separate places to keep money for your pleasure and leisure. At least that's how I look at this.
Spending money on books, appetizers, health, or donating to a friend's charity fundraiser.
Yeah. So the books and the appetizers are a little weird I have something called Ramit's book buying rule, which means if you ever see a book that you're even remotely interested in, just buy it. Don't ask a question, don't equivocate, just get it. Because if you can learn one thing from that book, it can transform your life. Appetizers, when I was a
So I want to talk about the books because I think I'm the same with the books. However, my probably the easiest way for me to gather knowledge and get knowledge from the books is listening to the audiobook version. And sometimes I listen to the books 2, 3 times. But I really wanted to show you the resources that I got available under this website, and because the books definitely shaped my knowledge throughout the years, and here few that I really really make a significant dent and difference in my thinking as far as real estate investments, as far as being better leader, better manager for the corporation. So all those books are pretty cool. I think this one definitely changed a lot in my life. So no BS, time management for entrepreneurs. And however, I believe that also that type of thinking caused some miscommunication for few people in my life. And I do understand that perspective so much more now. Never Split the Difference, the best book on negotiating and really driving the message, and not leaving money on the table, making sure that that it's usually win-win situation. So this is based on a hostage not negotiation, but there are so many principles that apply in a sale practices for other professionals. So this is a absolutely good book. From the beginning, this was probably a kind of mind changing. As far as the food intake and what I eat, I do follow Joel Fuhrman. I read several of his books, and they were quite good. Also, gave me that opportunity to understand so much more about the food intake and how people do feel about it. I was always more like a hacker, so like Tim Ferriss for our body. Yes, that was my way of exercising. I never wanted to spend too much time on exercises, which was a mistake. Now the habits are slightly different controlled, and I just do something early in the morning to make sure that I get that body flow and blood flow throughout my veins, and I get some kind of satisfaction and relax after the strenuous exercise. So this is different. Um, Great book on healthcare and what is coming from all the biotech companies, what is available right now. This is this book based on the research that I found over there. I started researching more for specific help that I would like to aid my mother with, and I know that those are good information that I can verify, that I can check, and I can actually have conversations with those specific clinics about services that they offer. And yeah, there's a lot of books over here, and I will be building that resource space, probably adding more relevant information to it. Listen to what he's talking about the appetizers. For me, there were no appetizers, but I loved going to a tapas restaurants, especially for something similar like that.
kid, we couldn't afford to eat appetizers. So we would eat out every 6 to 8 weeks. If we had a coupon, we'd usually go to a pizza place. Getting appetizers was inconceivable. So now when I eat out, to be able to see one or even two appetizers that look good, I go, yeah, I'll take them both. It feels incredibly rich. And this is just an example of how our childhood sticks with us. It feels awesome to be able to do that.
Rule number 5: business class flights on flights over 4 hours long.
Yes. Again, my money rules, not for anyone else. when I was in my
So what I say to this, yeah, if you can afford it, then and that makes you feel more relaxed. It's all about the mindset. Who can afford this? Why do people spend so much money on a first class tickets? There are good reasons probably for that, and he dives deeper into it.
early 20s, I would get on a flight and I would actually in my head scoff as I was walking from the front of the plane to the back. I'd be like, why would anyone spend 4 times the money paying for a first class ticket? It makes no sense. We're all getting to the same place. Ha ha ha. I wish instead of disparaging that, I would have gotten curious. And I wish I would have said, wow, if somebody can afford to get those seats, why would they? I wonder what they're spending money on. Aren't we all getting to the same place? And if I had gone from disparagement to curiosity, from D to C, I would have understood that some people have their office paying for it. Some people do it for health because they want to get there. They want their back to feel good. They maybe need to go to a meeting. And some people just have enough money that they can do what they want. And when I started to become more curious about money, that opened up my eyes to be able to spend on certain things and spend extravagantly, but also to realize, wow, maybe I try this certain type of food once. Cool. I don't need to do it again. So for me, my money rule, so that I don't have to decide every time I take a flight, boom, this is my guideline. It's done. It's written. Never have to think about it again.
Rule 6, buy the best and keep it as long as possible.
Yes, I love this. I think we all intuitively have this idea of quality over quantity. But if you look in somebody's closet or you look at the things in their house, there may be some incongruity. So, for example, my car is 17 years old. It's a good car. For me, it was a fine car. I don't care. It rides fine. It's a 4-door Honda Accord. I told you, very sensible, long-term.
I loved Honda Accord. I think that was my car for wow, a good 15 years at some point. So I do really understand. Not a car guy, but I just want to have something that works.
Great. Buy the best, keep it for a long time. It's the same with clothes. Those things matter to me. I like that. And so I'll buy something that might seem very expensive, but I'll keep it for a long time.
Good for the environment as well.
Yeah.
So my strategy with that was, always investing in the best tech or best technology. Most of the time, I was able to really receive great equipment through my work assignments, but for like a home office, for everything that I was doing for myself and reconceptualizing a lot of stuff, I was always really connected with the tech guy, and I think I'm gonna do another episode specifically talking about Leo Laporte and the tech and the tweet community, because I was always getting probably the best information about the technology from this guy and the panels that he was able to put together inside of his network. So I'll share about that.
Rule 7, no limit on spending on health or education.
Yeah, this one is important. I learned when I was in my 20s and I started training and learning from personal trainers and nutritionists that I really loved it. And I also realized that I needed help. I needed great teachers. And so eventually I just realized I'm going to give myself unlimited spending on this. Same for education. So I'm a teacher. I teach different programs. Of course, I'm a student as well. I want to learn from great teachers, from taking accounting classes here at Columbia to buying every conceivable book and digital program there is. I've given myself the freedom to do that. And all that came from, I had a scholarship. I had many scholarships that paid my way through college. And one of the scholarships set up an account for me at the Stanford bookstore. So when I walked in there, I could get literally any book I wanted. It was like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. For a guy like me to have unlimited books, it was like unbelievable. And when I graduated from college, I realized that would be going away. And then I remember having this conversation with myself and saying, how much would it really cost to recapture that feeling of being able to get anything I wanted? See a book on the bookshelf, I'll get it. And the answer is really not that much. So over time, that then expanded to health and education.
Health, I find.
So this is my story specifically about health and education. So I've been, well, in Poland. I finished schools for the physical therapy. So I worked in the United States as a therapist probably for the first 4 years. Then I switched more into security. Security was my path, especially physical security. So that morphed more into environmental health and safety, compliance for the organizations. And recently, I was also providing support for the quality control department at the organization, which was fun. But I do understand, having leaders and mentors. That was my way of really conversing. I was always that mentee. So I would reach out to the mentors, to the leaders, specifically if I had to resolve some problems, and that is happening quite opening now with the consultation practices, with people providing their years of information and compressing it for few people that can afford to be working with the specific organization where those leaders are inside. Right now, it's quite democratized for me because there are so many great business coaches that provide consultation practices for their students, and I am also recreating that structure under the Glenview Mastermind. So inside of the Glenview Mastermind, I do provide a lot of support and structure. I'm starting to really put the information, what are my goals for the remainder of this year, and really projects that I'll be taking in 2025. But my consultation practice is open. My hourly rate is relatively high for a lot of people, but I know what kind of information and what kind of compression of the knowledge I can achieve with somebody just within an hour. Obviously, the coaching programs are a little bit more longer. I usually can set up somebody for like a 6 weeks commitment or 8 weeks commitment, and we can work through some specific problems inside of their business, or if there are professionals and they do have some questions, I will be happy to kind of modify that knowledge that truly applies to the professionals working at the different corporations. Because well, I did that for almost 30 years, and there is a specific path to make sure that you are understood by others, and you are likable. I think that was the best differential for me over the last few years.
Really compelling because it's clearly the most important foundation of all of this. It's clearly the most lucrative investment any of us could make, because everything we've described, the rich life, doesn't exist without that foundation.
Yeah.
So it's all good investing in your Vanguard, but it doesn't matter at all if you're going to die.
Yeah. If you ask people what's important to you, they'll often give you the same answers. They'll say relationships, health, maybe travel.
Career, maybe.
Yeah. I go, okay, let's take a look at your spending. Show me where you spend on those things. It gets really quiet really fast. Now, it's one thing to spend time on relationships, and we should, but we can also spend money to enrich those things. It might be surprising your niece at a showing of Michael Jackson, or it might be surprising your family by going home and visiting them. There are lots of ways you can use money to enrich those experiences. Same for health. It could be what you buy at the grocery store. It could be training or a gym membership. It could be whatever it is that's meaningful for you. But if we claim something's important to us, it sure better show up in our time and our spending.
Rule number 8, earn
So I'll interject specifically on a healthcare, and I mentioned already that I've been a physical therapist over here, and so I see the healthcare and medicine United States. Well, I always thought the great facilities, the best research, and I thought that it's working. It's really not working. Those without money are really going into the system that is not capable of always helping them, or really there's no resources available for people that are on a kind of cheaper insurance plans. And don't let me get started on like Medicare, and yes, absolutely great services for a lot, but for someone with the really complicated medical conditions, well, I think it's better to really do private engagements with the specific specialists. So the service will be kind of better, and that is the whole through. That's why I need to make more money right now, so I can actually significantly support my mom on a quest of I really hope that she will be able to have a few years with less pain and increased mobility. And I know it's gonna be tough at her age, but with the stem cells and with what I learned over the last year and all the treatments that are currently available, yes, they're expensive, but I see this as a reason to earn more so I can provide that help for my mother and really for myself. I'm probably at that age that I will need some, new replacement at some point, and I know that it costs a lot of money, and especially if you are not working for the corporation with the great insurance package, well, that makes a difference.
Earn enough to work only with people you respect and like.
I love this one. I decided long ago that I only want to work with people that I like and respect. And so I earn enough money so that I can do that. And to me, who you surround yourself with matters profoundly. Ideas seep into your consciousness, values seep in. If I'm around people who, when I look at the calendar, when I have a meeting with them, I dread it, I already know it's the beginning of the end.
Most of us have to work with assholes, though, right? Like
Yeah.
no, I say have to. I shouldn't use that word. I don't like saying have to, but most of us spend most of our lives, especially the early part of our lives, working with assholes.
We work with people that we may not particularly choose ourselves. I think that's
Assholes.
probably. So, yes, I built a life where I could make that decision for myself.
Yeah.
I'm the CEO of my business. But I think what is important there is the intentionality behind it. It's like, even if I worked at a company, I would be deciding on which division I want to work in, which boss I want to transfer under, based on do I like and do I respect him. That's it. The intention is there. Again, these are my rules, not anybody else's. But if this one strikes you, then the way that I would interpret this is, wow, who in my life do I not like? Who do I not respect? Do I need to be around them? Maybe it's not work. Maybe it's the friend that I hang out with socially on Saturdays. Again, we have a choice, not on everything, but in the things we do have a choice. What a shame if we don't use it.
Absolutely agree. It makes so big difference, and it also makes a difference. The organization that you get into. What I'm trying to rebuild under like Pure Experts and Glenview Mastermind is that kind of Mind Valley practice where everybody's really accountable. I really want to have a conversation and one-on-ones with people that working inside of the organization, and I will continue doing this. I know how important that is to provide the feedback and really get to know people on a different levels, not just from like work perspective. What drives them, how I can help them as an organization, how I can enrich their lives so they are not struggling from one or different perspective. So that is important.
Rule number 9, prioritize time outside the spreadsheets.
Yeah. Too many nerds love a spreadsheet and they go, I got to optimize cell B43. B43 never talk back to me. I go, all right, look, yes, you need to know your numbers. Yes, you should be automatically saving and investing, all that. Yes, do the conscious spending plan. But at a certain point, you won. The turkey is cooking. You won. You know your numbers. Turn the page. Get out of the spreadsheet. A rich life is lived outside of the spreadsheet. So on a personal level, that means I spend less than 1 hour per month on my finances. It all runs. It's a machine. It's a system. I speak to my wife. We talk once every couple of weeks about money. Besides that, do not spend time tweaking, because the rich life is lived having conversations like this, seeing friends, seeing my family. That's where I want to live, not tweaking things endlessly for no marginal gain.
Number 10, you mentioned your wife there. Marry the right person.
Yeah, maybe the most important one of all. Marriage is the most consequential financial and relational decision we ever make. And people, they're a little weirded out by this rule. They go, what does this have to do with money? I go, what do you mean? The partner you choose will affect where you live, what you spend on a day-to-day basis, what type of house you buy if you do, how often you travel, the values if you have children that you pass down to kids. Of course it's important. And so these are conversations that if you are starting to date, it's a great time. There's natural moments in the dating process or even the relationship process where you can bring up money. So it's like the first time you take a vacation together, take a trip, you go, hey, just want to, this is on my mind. I'd love to just like put it out on the table. Love that you invited me on this trip. I'm so excited to go. I'm just curious, how were you thinking about paying for the trip? Who in your mind pays for it? How would you see us splitting this? That's a great way to bring it up, and you learn a lot about your partner. There are questions you can naturally ask. How were you raised with money? What do you remember your parents telling you? Here's what I remember about my parents. Genuine curiosity. It also tells you a lot about your partner. And then there's a few other natural moments in a relationship where it just makes perfect sense to talk about money. When you get engaged, when you get married, if and when you move in together pre or post marriage, if and when you have children, there are these natural moments where you get the gift of being able to talk about money.
Do people talk about money? Couples?
They talk about it when something goes wrong.
Outside of that, what sort of percentage of couples do you think talk about money?
Rarely. It's very low. I know. I speak to them all the time. I ask them, when do you talk about money? They go, when we're fighting. Or when they talk about it, it's these grooves that have been created for 40 years. Oh, every time she goes to Target, she spends too much. Ha ha ha. And I'm like, that's not that funny. Like, the running joke between you is that she spends too much at Target.
Sounds like resentment.
Yeah. Why not it be something different so that when you talk about money once a month, proactively, you always start off complimenting your partner. You go, you know what? I really appreciate that when we travel, you always pick the best flights. I have total trust because you always get us there on time and you pick the flights that are so comfortable, and I just love you for that. That's a great way to reframe how we talk about money. But instead, we often simply do not talk about it proactively. We only talk about it when something is a problem.
Do you think our partner should know how much money we have?
When you're married, probably a little before that as well. Like, I'll tell you what happened with my wife and me. So in my book, in chapter 9, I talk about how to talk about money and when to talk about money. And first of all, there's a lot of personal finance experts. They're like, you should talk about money on date 1. I'm like, have you guys ever been on a first date?
Can you imagine?
Who's talking about their asset allocation on the first date? I'm like, get a life. So she had asked me, like years into our relationship, some 401k question. And I was like, read this book. Learn it. It's in there. So I knew all about her money. We had talked about her finances. And then as we started getting more serious, one day she came to me and she said, I don't feel comfortable because you know everything about my finances and I don't know anything about yours. And that was a sobering moment because I realized I had violated my own rules in chapter 9 of talking about money early and proactively.
Why didn't she feel comfortable?
She didn't feel comfortable because she felt like I knew everything. And she didn't know anything about me. Being in the dark about your partner and their finances is very uncomfortable. We were planning to get married. So what does that mean? Does he have debt? Does he not? Does he have this much money or not? Does he expect me to pay the exact same amount for this apartment because I don't know if I can afford that? What does it mean for children? What does it mean for our elderly parents? All that stuff. This is what money means. Money is not just an amount in a spreadsheet. It's where do we live? Security. Who do we get to be? And, security is a really good, that word haunts me because I realized to my horror that I had not shared about my finances. So we had a series of conversations. And as we got engaged, we had more. We started talking about money a lot. And I mentioned to my now wife, I said, it's really important for me that by virtue of me running a business for so long, I've accumulated this business, these assets, and I love you, but it's important for me that we talk about a prenup. And I was very, very scared. I had talked to a lot of friends, and I'm sharing this because prenups are another thing that always happen in the dark. And I don't want that. I want people to shine a light and to understand how these conversations happen because nobody talks about this. I'm going to talk about it. So I was nervous. And all the advice online is awful. It's like, have the conversation. I'm like, what conversation? What do I say? Or some people, they tell you to blame your lawyer. My lawyer insisted I have a prenup. I'm like, if I can't be honest to my soon-to-be wife, what kind of relationship do we have? So that's what I said to her. And she responded like, awesome. She was like, wow, I didn't expect that. I don't know much about prenups, but I'd be willing to learn more. I said, fantastic. So we start talking more about it. We both get lawyers, as you're both required to. And it was going pretty well until it didn't. And we started really disagreeing about money. And we were just like fighting. And she finally said, we should go see somebody because this conversation is not going the right direction. And I totally agreed with her. So we literally went on Yelp and we searched like therapist near us and we found one right there. We went and we sit down and this therapist was great. She asked us, what does money mean to you? And she asked me first. It's so obvious. Money means growth. Like I could literally see the compound interest charts in front of my eyes. I know about the rule of 72 and expense ratios. Growth, of course. She asked the same question to my wife. My wife says, safety. Like, what? That's like somebody saying metal. Money means metal to me. I go, huh? And it was that we realized we saw money completely differently. Completely. It explained to me why my wife wanted more money in just sitting in a checking account. When I go, but that checking account is losing potential interest. Why would we lower our yield? Blah, blah, blah. We were looking at it through two totally different lenses. So that single question was very helpful in us reframing our conversations. It didn't change everything overnight. We still had a lot of conversations we had to have. And even once we got married, we still have conversations now. They're different. They're about spending and investing and prioritizing. But it was a new way for us to look at the way we related to money.
Where did her lens come from?
Childhood, like most of ours. Same for me. In fact, every time I talk to couples who are now in the seat that I was in, I ask them, what do you remember about growing up with money? And they always tell me similar things. My parents never talked about money. That's very common. Or they said certain phrases like, we can't afford it, money doesn't grow on trees, we don't talk about money in this family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Imagine you hear, we can't afford it 100 times, 1,000, 10,000 times.
And I think this is the phrase that a lot of families talk to their kids, and I see this as a somehow limiting belief, but I do fully understand situation of different couples is completely different. You need to plan this stuff. You need to have those strategic talks with the partner about money, because I believe that I am in the same boat. I look at the money that's not making or not working for itself. It's like kind of losing money, and I believe my spouse is more looking at the checking account and for the safety and from the perspective of being able to provide for the whole family. So there are differences, but this was a really really good conversation for anybody else to hopefully understand the values do change a little bit when you are in a position of wealth and money, but you still can have a really, really happy life and beautiful life when you are looking not only at yourself but looking at others and providing information and helping others from that perspective.
Growing up, and you turn 25, 35, you start to make decent money, but every time you go to buy something, you feel guilty and you feel anxious and you feel like I should be saving this money. And you can't figure out why, because on paper you make more money. If you came to me on my podcast, we would trace it back, and you might realize it is something as simple and vivid as sitting around the dinner table and hearing mom or dad saying, we can't afford it. Our childhood sticks with us, and we can change, but it's so important for us to acknowledge that it sticks with us.
Yep.
If I approach my partner and I say, I want to get a prenup, and they say, what? You don't trust me?
Yeah.
And they say no.
What do you do? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Well, I would say, first of all, I wouldn't start off like that. I think that is one of the most important conversations you're ever going to have in your life, and the subsequent conversations. So take it seriously. You show up and you explain it.
I explain it perfectly, and they
Okay.
turn around and say that.
And they say, no.
They
Well,
say,
you
you don't trust me? No.
Okay, that's a contingency you might have to plan for. So you might say, okay, can you tell me why? Tell me what's going through your head. I want to understand your perspective. This is a conversation. It's not a dictate.
Trust. You don't trust me.
Yeah.
Would you marry that person?
I would have a lot more conversations. I can't say yes or no because you can't judge someone based on their reaction in a situation they've never been in. How am I going to react if I got in a car accident and I start crying? Can you judge me my entire life based on that? No. But let's say that we extend it, and you and I are in a relationship, and I ask you, it's important for me by virtue of this and that, and you go, you don't trust me. If you are unwilling to even discuss it, if you're unwilling to talk to friends, to talk to lawyers, to talk to people you can find on your own or I can introduce you to, then I think we have a bigger disagreement about values. And, you know, the way that most of us think about a prenup is it's usually some rich asshole telling someone who has way less money, like, sign this paper or it's over. And again, that's Hollywood. Prenup, which I learned, is all about if the marriage ends, what you had before or any agreed upon assets stay with that person. So if you have a business and your partner and you get married, there's no prenup, and for whatever reason, God forbid, you separate, suddenly that business might be at risk. The portfolio that you accumulated before you ever met your partner might go to them. And that, when you explain it that way, most people go, oh, that doesn't really seem fair. But the money that you accumulate together as married partners, yeah, there definitely should be an agreed upon, that money needs to be split, etc. And no person, especially the partner who earns less, should be left out in the cold ever.
Do you notice any differences when you speak to these couples or on your podcast in gender differences as it relates to people's relationship with money? Because I read a lot of stuff about men being more prone to gambling addiction and gambling generally.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of differences. I think gender is one of the axes that people differentiate on. I see typically more aggressive investing from men. I typically, if I see a gender difference in investing differences, it would be much more conservative with women. I might see words like safety and security used more commonly by women. But I think there are also other axes. Socioeconomic class is a huge one that we talk about. And that's something that's very under the covers, particularly in America. But we talk about it point blank. If somebody tells me I've been poor before and I can be poor again, doesn't bother me. I can tell you how they were raised. I can tell you probably to some geographic area, in fact. If they tell me my parents said be seen and not heard, that tells me a lot about someone and their financial behavior. So there are different axes that you see different behaviors on.
This is the best product that Huel have released in recent times.
So I'm gonna pause this. So this is a commercial of that good product. I think this is not the good solution for everybody, but if you are looking to eat healthier and you are close to like my area or Chicagoland, I do microgreens delivery. So just wanted to point this out. Grow with microgreens. We do grow 4 different species of microgreens. So we got sunflower, broccoli, peas, and well, and then I also have a red radish that is mixed within the crunchy mix. The radish is slightly spicy, but it balances pretty fun within the crunchy mix. So I do have bundles, and the only thing that I need to change right now, all the orders are scheduled like on a weekly delivery. I will rebuild this ordering page. So if someone wants to order a bundle for the delivery, only like 1 month, one time a month or every other week. Right now, I can set it up if someone calls me that, hey, instead of weekly delivery, I just want to do every other week. We can arrange that. The product is super fresh when I deliver it, and it holds in the fridge for the next probably good 2 weeks, pretty well, and the quality is way better than what you can get from the supermarkets, but it is quite comparable to other people that do grow microgreens. If you would like to learn more about microgreens and microgreens opportunities, the closest and easiest way to connect with me is through those AB team events. But even if you go on a Glenview Mastermind or like a Pure Experts, I do have events over here, and this is the Grow Connection. So inside of that Grow Connection, I do curate several accountability meetings. I'm meeting with the real estate brokers, investors. I'm having a class for like accountability and business empowerment meeting, and those have different formats. Depending who's jumping in on a call, I can provide some support specifically for that individual. But if there's a problem that I am battling through, especially from a sales and marketing perspective, well, I want to get some guidance from right-minded people. So I really invite you to those open calls, and this is the schedule that I'm gonna abide probably until the end of this year, just to keep it consistent. So I think fun meetings for anybody that's using the Obvio platform for the connection and meetings. This is gonna be a meeting that well, maybe we'll compare some tech tools and what you are using for your microphone. How do you switch the cameras? And so this is gonna be really more about the video production, media production, and I bet this is gonna be fun meeting. microgreens opportunities. So this is 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, my time. I fully intend to just walk people through what it takes to grow those microgreens, and I do have several offers for people that would like to be growing them in their locations, because that is my model, and I'll be happy to even do some simple trade deliveries if you just want to grow after the plants are seeded and germinated, so you don't have to mess with soil or anything like that. I can deliver just a trace to you. This is only for the local area, uh, but this is gonna be expanded because I can also create a program for somebody that I will build them a website. I will make all the connections for them. I will teach them how to really grow microgreens for their specific clients. But getting clients for the microgreens, it is tricky. It's not hard. I am niching more towards being able to deliver to the restaurants, and well, I'll have a special episode specifically talking about it. But if someone wants to jump in on the conversations, those are available on Wednesdays. But if you have a question, you can always ask that question. And then pure expert support call. So this is for the marketing agency. We'll dive deep into showing you the portal, showing you the whole business system and a whole business hub there's available inside of the product. And I do sell it as a software as a service, but I do have a group of freelancers that been trained uh, probably over last 8 months. I started with eight uh, people as a talent, and unfortunately, I'm down to three right now. But those three are executing uh, the assignments as needed. So I call them my superstars, and they really work quite well. So this is pure experts, and then new meeting that came up to my head probably. Well, the idea came in many months ago, but now I'm just finally executing on it. I really would like to create a panel of landscaping business owners, those that maybe do have like 2, 3 crews, and they looking for the expansion opportunities. I really would like to create a panel of about 10 to 15 business owners that really would like to get into expansion of their business, and we'll be talking about utilizing robotic lawn mowers for the residential areas. And I do have some specific and fun ideas how to amortize that over the 3 years. We can purchase the robots, and then uh, this is the product that you will be able to offer to your customers, and really maybe getting a new customers based on the information. So there's a homeowner, maybe he's not super technically heavy, advanced, and they will need some help. So those are the services that I'm planning to develop under this specific meeting, which probably in October I'll turn it into some specific workshops. So I get people that are committed and would like to be able to put some money for the project. We'll develop that product, and they will have that product available. If they choose to use the services of my marketing agency, well, I can then build it up the way that needs to be built, and they will be able to use it. Another broker and investors conversation, and I think I just created this just to have fun and connect with people locally over here. Maybe there are some events that either I'm going or you are going. It makes sense to meet on a Saturday and Sunday. I got just one more year, probably with like a kids' school assignments after that. I am basically on on my own, and I don't want to be alone in a house. So that's why this is a plan that will work and probably pay benefits in the future. But I really, really invite you now to all those meetings. And as I started creating them and everything is set up properly from the marketing agency tools, if you are looking for a simple job, if you do sign up under the affiliate program and then jump into the Grow platform, I will be able to explain more what are the expectations. That does not gonna cost you money to invest upfront, but you will be able to gain some benefits if you connect me with a different business owner that maybe can use the services of the marketing agency, or if there are investors that invest in a real estate, single family houses, multifamily, and I do self storage as well. So this has been fun, and I hope that it brings some value and the perspective for others about how those that do have money treat the money and the conversation between the partners. So that was the most important, and I wish you a great day.